Okay.
And we're live.
All right, so welcome back to Adventure Hook, Dark Sun, Fire and Sand. I'm your host, Aaron Campbell, portray the Wanderer, and we're doing something a little different tonight. I'll let everybody go ahead and introduce themselves normally. We're waiting on Mark. We're not sure if he's going to make it tonight. So just bear with us. If Mark does show up, we'll have to take a quick little break to work on that reformatting. But why don't we go around, do the old intro.
Hello. I'm Joe Annabi, and I will not be Geza Akos tonight.
You will for a little while. Sure.
Okay.
I am Joe Millard, and I will be Craucus the Half Giant tonight.
My name is Emelie O'Hara, and I am Desiderata the Half Elf for the most part, I guess.
Awesome. And I'm Robert Randle, and normally I portray Ma'ak Ka'ari, a Thri-Kreen telepath, but tonight I'm going to be taking on the role of the first mate and essentially co-GMing, even GMing a large portion of tonight's episode as we explore certain backstory possibilities threads that we may tug on that have to do with memories that Craucus has recently recovered. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, so, and just a FYI, the reason we're doing this is because I'm currently in the most intense deadline of my entire life. I'm working on finishing Suicide Squad number 3, Blaze with Cy Spurrier by not tomorrow, but the next Monday. And I'm currently right now in a one page a day deadline. Just now, like I did literally 17 pages in the last 11 days. So I'm incredibly exhausted and also slightly recovering from my birthday party yesterday. So I just turned 45.
Happy birthday!
On Friday. Had a little party yesterday, so got a little bit of the queasies from little elbow bending. But yeah, Rob's taking over tonight as basically the Wanderer. It does look like we lost some of our formatting.
That is because Mark
us.
has arrived.
Oh, Mark has arrived. Okay, so bear with us then. We're gonna just put that "we'll be right back" screen up, and we'll be right back with you once we get Mark in here.
Okay, we're back again.
All right, so we're back, and Mark is in the house. So we were ready to go. I think I've set it up. Unless anybody has any, banter, any topics I want to say. It was my birthday on Friday, and yesterday was a party, so I am now a 45-year-old person. Halfway to 90.
Nice.
So,
Well, happy birthday, dude.
thank you. Okay. So, having said that, I assume I'm throwing it over to you then.
All right, great. Well, we can imagine picking up right where we left last session, where Craucus and Huxa had their sort of standoff, and then they hugged it out and came out after Craucus's little healing escapade with the fire clerics has now gained a new matched pair, gladiatorial companions. So, Craucus.
Yes.
This, your most recent brush with unconsciousness and death, has brought with it a flood of memories, recollections that you have, in fact, been dreaming about this so-called wild child all your life. Whether it was a hard day's work or a hard day's fighting, from your earliest days, there was nothing quite like a nice long nap to make you feel completely rejuvenated and ready to take on the world again. And it was often after some of the hardest days that feral spectral entity would visit your dreams at night. Days like today, for instance. At one point, those fire exarchs were incinerating your back to such an extent you were almost sure they were going to burn your spine in half. But after your quick little leer nap, where you encountered that beastly persona once again, you awoke feeling well enough to walk. And all you need is a nice long sleep, and you'll be feeling right as rainwater tomorrow. In fact, with each step you take, unassisted, I would say, guys, away from the Crimson Temple, you feel your gait improve, almost as if perhaps that bestial creature's strength has somehow matched his stride to yours. Still, while sleep certainly beckons, it is hard to rest with an empty belly, and you forewent any feasting at Lady Nerissa's to stay ready for your fight against your now newly matched pair gladiatorial partner Huxa. And battling that beetle woman certainly works up a copious appetite. So, what is it that we would see Craucus doing or saying or even thinking?
So, everyone's with me, right?
Yep, we're picking up right at, basically, I think the whole party is together, so to speak.
Okay. I would start just charging back to the inn for food. I want to eat right now. I'm very hungry. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going.
Okay. Well, I think everyone would start to at least try to keep pace with you, but the exarchs, Geza and Cha'ar, why don't both of you guys make a medicine check?
$22.
Nice. Cha'ar?
He got a 19, though his microphone
19.
is muted.
19. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you're both, I easily can compare notes. Based on what you saw in that room with all those dead beetles on the ground, and I guess like how much effort the exarchs actually had to make to get that situation under control. While his wound is certainly cauterized, and perhaps, obviously kept from death, you would not be surprised if someone suffering that sort of procedure would never walk again, let alone walk out of the hospital, so to speak. And already he is like moving at a normal pace, and it seems to be improving with every stride.
For the course.
So is there anything you do based on what you've just learned, or do you think that that's normal now?
I think Craucus is always an impressive specimen. He shouldn't be as resilient as he is, but he always is. I'm not surprised.
All right then. Well, you have traveled with him longer than anyone. How about Cha'ar? Anything Cha'ar wants to do or say?
No, I am not familiar with the physiology of half giants, so I'm just assuming he's got a good immune system.
Well, I would think that, everyone knows that giants, while powerful compared to humans of a, similar build, I suppose, they're not immortal or certainly not immune to damage. You've seen many die, let's just say, in arenas, and, this is just Athos. You see a lot of people die in your tenure. So I would just say that Craucus would be an amazing specimen for a half giant. Let's just put it that way. Craucus, as you are, basically making your beeline back to, at least where you think the Golden Inex is.
Yeah, best guess.
Best guess.
100% confident. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, of course you are, and I imagine Aaron Haxa, will you take on the role of her for now? I imagine is keeping pace with him, or what would she be doing?
Well, yeah, she would definitely be staying with the group.
All right.
Probably
well, then,
would have already asked where is it that we're going.
The voice of Ma'ak over Metaconcert chimes in for everyone here to hear, including Haxa. Says, well, I take it that Craucus is in a hurry to get somewhere, but I would be very cautious of both of you, but particularly you, Haxa, to not show anyone that metal weapon you have acquired. We know, for instance, Almalaro covets it, and it would be in our best interest for her to be perhaps a little confused as to where it currently resides, lest she be so inclined to steal it.
She would say in response to you, perhaps then, I should eat it now instead of waiting.
Eat it? You will eat the weapon?
Yes, I must consume.
How long will it take you to devour it?
Well, first I must vomit on it, and then it will dissolve, and then I will drink it. But I need a clay vessel in order to drink it. Otherwise, the corrosive nature of my acids will destroy anything else.
Yes, no doubt. We will attempt to secure a place where you can do that without being disturbed. But Craucus, I should actually say, you should know the last time I was in Shadow Square, I secured an agreement with the owner of the Giant's Rest to feast you whenever you were victorious. Now, he agreed to that deal with the understanding that I would be helping to recover the money Almalaro stole from him. But I think we can rest assured that the Giant's Rest is the one place that she would not follow us because of that reason. And we could go there, and also it's probably worth noting. I should ask you this first, Craucus. Do you intend to eat the Pharaoh fruit? Or is it in our best interest to turn that into money?
No, it's so small.
It wouldn't satisfy.
No, it's too small. I need a lot. That is very little.
Yes. All right. Well, it is incredibly valuable. And I would think that of all the vendors in the city, the proprietor of the Giant's Rest, this unscrupulous foodie, so to speak, would be the ideal candidate to arrange Ma'ak struggles for the word, but he would come up with Metaconcert would give you auction, an auction for it, a fight, a money fight was probably the word Ma'ak would use, right? Can we start a money fight for over your fruit or over the fruit that we want, right? And this guy would know all the people who would bid on it. And if we offer him a finder's fee, it's like 10% or whatever is fair. In theory, he's going to want to get the best people for it. That would be my thinking.
Then let us go there. I want the money for more food.
Well, and he should feast you for free.
Yes, he should.
Agreement.
I want that now.
All right, then. Then let us make haste for the Giant's Rest and hope that Omolaro is trailing us. There was something else to this that has me thinking. If you recall, that nobleman, Augeas of Astocles, left the party early out of, I don't know, guilt, perhaps? And I am curious. Well, he did offer all of us to stay at his estate. It is possible that he's returned home, but based on his reactions, I'm almost guessing that we might find him in Shadow Square, lurking or looming or I don't know, whatever sleepers do. But it would be curious to see if we find him there when we go to Shadow Square. I would be curious to see if his guilt has led him down that path. But unless anybody has anything else that they would want to say or do, I would say we fast forward to Shadow Square.
I am curious. I may be too drunk at this stage to properly for this to be the time. But I would be very interested to have a look at whatever that thing was that, oh God, I don't even have my notes out. You've caught me unprepared. That I was given at the party, the poison pellet.
Oh, well, that would be a question for Aaron. But in theory, you want to be careful about showing that around. We want to do that either probably in the Golden Onyx or something like that. Would be Ma'ak's suggestion. You don't want to...
Yeah, when you're ready to look at that, just shout at me and I'll...
Yeah, cool. But yeah, I mean, I think we were quite successful. What was her name? Narissa?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Narissa.
So let's, and of course, this fruit only depreciates in value the longer we wait. So,
and are we staying at the Giant's Rest, or we're just stopping off there to feast?
I think we should feast. It is also bait to lure Omolaro into a trap, because she will come close, but not no closer. She will want to keep eyes on us because she will want to know what happened to that dagger. If anything, actually, there's a good chance Pressure Bay is lurking nearby too. Do you think we should summon him to dinner as well?
That's up to you if you are able.
I can certainly ping him. I would ask Desi whether she thinks he should be there. He is, of course,
I think we should call everyone we know.
All right, so it's going to be that kind of thing. All right, so just Pressure Bay, unless he is otherwise would have some other reason to not come, has been formally invited to join us to feast at Giant's Rest. So, Aaron, is Ma'ak correct? Is Augeas of Astocles wandering about Shadow Square, all brooding and moody? Or has he returned to his somewhere else, either his home or somewhere else?
I mean, you'd probably have to do some searching.
Well, I think Ma'ak would certainly want to do that. So, with his understanding that this is, okay, so yeah, I mean, a 14, unless Augeas is hiding, you'd probably spot him.
Is he there? Let me think about that. It's kind of late. Yeah, I do believe that you do see him wandering through Shadow Square. You actually catch up, or when you spot him, you see that he's helping. I mean, there's still recovery efforts. Going on. So he's actually helping to sort of coordinate some of those relief efforts, and he's bringing in, or he's actually has a cart laden with food and water that he is distributing to the people in the square.
All right. Well, it seems that he has made good on his, whatever it was, he feels like he's making better use of his time. Do you think we should invite him to dine with us, or should we leave him to this more noble effort?
I don't think he's going to break away from his good works.
All right. Well, let's keep an eye on him, though. We don't want him getting out of our purview just yet.
You could invite him when he's done.
Yes. Well, we'll keep an eye on it then. It's a good idea. All right. Then we will fast forward to Aaron is, I assume there's still some business going on at the Giant's Rest, right? So,
it's pretty dead after today's events. But there are some people here. They are serving some food. And it looks like they've gotten the place pretty much back in working order.
Excellent.
So, you can tell, like, obviously a lot of people fled through here. Like, afterwards, there were probably people fleeing through every doorway they could find. So you can see that there's some broken chairs kind of stacked, broken stools and chairs stacked over to one side. There's a table that's broken and pushed up against, leaned up against a wall where the legs had been broken from underneath it, and, stuff like that.
Let's try to pick the most private table we can, so that if Amolaro can peek, but she won't have an idea of what we're actually doing, and we'll be in meta-concert, so we'll always be able to discuss things privately.
And there were those kind of more private booths in the back of the Giant's Rest.
Well, I'll make nice. Well, Ma'ak will make meta-concert with the proprietor, assuming he is still here.
Yeah.
And hey, we're back, and we're ready to feast. But we have also laid a trap for the thief who robbed you earlier today. Whether she appears or not, she should be nearby. Should you have agents?
Am I playing the proprietor?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, I remember you from earlier. Why are you doing this? Why are you
make good on my promise to you that I would recover your stolen money as best as I was able. I have, as I said, laid a delicious trap for Amolaro. I believe that she will be nearby. If not, I also bring you an... Wait, I'm sorry. Actually, did we as a group agree that he was a good guy to approach about the pharaoh fruit, or do we want to wait on that one?
No, I think that's fine.
Right.
That's what we talked about, right?
Good. Ma'ak doesn't want to speak for the group if we hadn't actually discussed it. So,
how drunk is Geza?
Not quite as drunk as Desi.
First voice of reason.
If Geza gets the hiccups when he's drunk, is it like a every time he hiccups?
Probably a quack, right?
My only reservation
about like the Affleck duck.
Yeah.
My only reservation about doing anything with the pharaoh fruit is it more valuable than the dagger?
It potentially is more valuable than the dagger. I think they mentioned, did I hear right? 150 gold coins it's worth?
Well, it was like, it can range anywhere from 10 to like over 100 gold for.
Okay, all right, so 100 max, right? But in theory, if we can, get this guy to start a bidding war, 100's not unreasonable. right?
Yeah. I mean, none of you really know anything about Pharaoh fruit, so.
Yeah, that was the other reason I
And
was hoping
what's
August
the
might join us.
approximate value of the dagger?
Let's see. The cost of metal goods are 10 times the cost in the player's handbook.
Okay.
So that would be.
Basically, I'm just not sure what our plan is as far as our relationship with Amalaro. Like, are we trying to trap her for this guy? Are we trying to use her expertise for our going to the bathhouse still?
I think really honestly, while the bathhouse would be nice, because we do not want to forget about House Yanto. I think she is actually more valuable to us to track the defilers who escaped us in the sewers. In theory, she can find out where they went and maybe even tie some identities to them.
So,
In that
okay,
case,
so
do you think Agias might be? I'm just. I have a plot forming. I'm sorry, Geza. Go ahead.
well, first, it looks like a regular dagger is worth 2 gold pieces in the player's handbook.
So it'd be 20 gold.
Let me just confirm that calculation. It might actually be more.
And then while he's doing that, well, it seems like if Amalaro is of any value to us at all, then we want to be able to barter with her, and we don't want to entrap her for this man's.
I don't think this guy can trap her on his own. I think he would need us to do it. That's sort of what I'm setting up here.
Yeah,
I don't know if she's actually going to come. I mean, she would probably be foolish, but her greed may overtake her.
She may be waiting for us to make good on our promise. I don't know if she has a backup plan. We don't really know her at all.
That was the other reason I was hoping to invite Pressure. Maybe he can give us more insight.
Mm-hmm. So I was wrong. All metal items in the player handbook are what they cost. So the dagger is 2 gold. But all non-metal items in the player's handbook are 1% of the value listed in the player's handbook. So that's where the value of the dagger comes in. So yeah, it's 2 gold pieces.
Okay, so this fruit is
way more valuable.
Fortune's more than the dagger.
Okay.
Yeah, theoretically.
I think whatever. If we can sell this for a lot of gold, then certainly we can just pay her in gold. That will have to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think she would accept that. She's mentioned 3 gold, which seemed exorbitant, but whatever. She was shooting for Raal, you might say. Okay, so back to
that's one of the moons, by the way. For
what? Yeah,
everyone
sorry.
Raal
and Guthay are
Raal
the
and Guthay are the 2 moons. Yeah, Raal is the gold moon and Guthay is the green moon, I believe.
I think it's the other way around. I think Raal is the big green one and the small gold one. But whatever. There was only 1 sentence in one of the books about it. So anyway, so back to the proprietor of the Giant's Rest. Ma'ak will share with him a very recent memory of a very ripe, delicious-looking pharaoh fruit sitting in a purple velvet box, or however it was presented to us, and say, for a percentage of the final money amount, do you think you could create a auction of interested buyers for this item quickly?
I definitely believe I could do that. How did you come about
10% sound
fruit?
fair?
How much?
10% finder's fee, so they say.
Well, it will be quite a task to gather everyone quickly, especially after the events of the day. When are you hoping to hold this auction?
We would put that at your discretion. This would be your area of expertise and how you will earn your percentage.
Well, I could certainly gather clientele tomorrow if I can coax them here to Shadow Square. I might have to find a location outside if individuals are timid of coming here after the attack, which is likely, but it will take some doing, and I'll definitely have to hire some security. I think you're kind of foolish just waving that thing around the way you
Well, no, I shared a memory with him. We still have that
okay.
in Crocus's bag or something like that.
Okay, so you haven't actually shown it to you.
Yeah, no, I.
Well, then
I
he
did
is going to say,
Yeah.
he said,
I get it, totally.
Yeah. He says, I am going to have to see the fruit. It's a bit early still for Pharaoh fruit. It usually doesn't come
It is
in
from the
for a few more
Astocles
days.
estate, and if you will just draw that curtain, I'm sure our champion would happily show you.
Okay, well, he excuses himself real quick. He goes and talks to a couple of like his household staff, his guards, basically, who basically shoo all the customers in the in their out. One of them protests, and the and the guard says, "What did I say?" And he grabs the food and throws it on the floor outside the doors, like, "There, you can eat it off the floor."
Nice.
and then locks the front door, and then the curtain is drawn, and you can show him the fruit.
Mm-hmm. We were told it will lose its value in 2 to 3 days. Am I correct on that? You are probably the expert, though.
Yes, if we're going to sell this for the most, we need to wait no later than tomorrow. It will start to spoil. Depends on how it's been prepared, but let me see it.
Does it spoil or become more alcoholic?
So you show it to him?
He can look with his eyes, not with his hands, but yeah, we'll let him see it.
Okay. He looks at the packaging, that velvet kind of cushion that it is on, which at this point is like saturated in sticky sweetness, is an indicator of that's unique to the Astocles estate. So he goes like, that is definitely Astocles Pharaoh fruit. No one else uses this color, purple velvet, for their presentation. It does appear to be somewhat small, not quite as large as most I'm used to seeing. The best examples.
Was it harvested too early?
Well, like I said, it's really Pharaoh typically gets harvested next week, just before, 2 weeks before the high sun is the prime time. So obviously they were eager to harvest this quickly, for whatever purpose.
Nerissa's idiot party, no doubt.
Do you say that?
Actually, I probably say that to my friends in Meta Concert, but yeah, I think Marc would.
But my question is still valuable as potential seed for its own tree.
No, it is still valuable for its intended use. Like I said, it's not an optimal specimen, but it still has a lot of value. I imagine we could probably get to the right buyer 25 gold out of this. Maybe 30.
All right. I should have said this before. But now Ma'ak will activate a new higher form of Metaconcert. And he will ask him again, 25 gold? That seems low. Are you sure that is all it is worth? And no, Aaron,
I would not.
that if this guy lies, I will know.
Oh, well, you're thinking that maybe he's going to...
I think he's lowballing us. So I want to see if he's lying or whether he actually does think it's worth 25.
Yeah, like the idea that he's going to try to sell this without your knowledge of what the
right, and he'll get 100 for
it,
and then here's your 20, or whatever, right? Yeah, no, I mean it's possible it's only worth 25, but they made it sound more viable, so he's just trying to make sure.
He doesn't seem to you don't think that he's being dishonest. You think he's being cautious, maybe overly cautious.
Okay, so he just doesn't want to get our hopes up, but it might be worth more than 25. All right,
but he does say my asking price will need to be at least 20%. I have to cover security for the event.
Ma'ak refers to the group on that one. Too high?
I'm wondering if we could not ask Aegeus for his advice on selling this thing.
I don't know if he'll be keen on us auctioning his fruit for personal gain. I don't know.
He has to know and that we, I actually think he would like us more if we were poor and not so rich that we can just eat expensive fruit. We'll tell him we're donating it to some cause.
I mean, we will most likely put it to very good use, to the good of people in Tyr and beyond. But,
the proprietor says 20% is a fair price. Most places you take this to are going to want 50 or perhaps more.
He's handling the sale, he's contacting his clients, and he's providing security. In addition to what security we will be providing, we would be lucky to create this much wealth on our own.
I think we're overpaying.
I have many contacts in the city. This could be the beginning of a good relationship, and you can avoid the Elven Market to boot. I mean, you could take it to the Elven Market right now and sell it for 2 gold pieces.
No doubt.
If you're able to even get it through.
Yeah, no, we would prefer to deal with you, sir. This is why we came. 15%? And we promise to be on hand for added security. We have the great Craucus the Unkillable.
Haha.
I'll do it for 15, but we need to make this Pharaoh fruit look better than it is.
How would you suggest we do that?
I'm not saying that any of you might be sorcerers, but if perhaps there is a sorcerer around, they might be able to engorge the fruit temporarily. Whoever purchases this will eat it before the effects wear off, for sure.
Well, none of us are sorcerers, but I have some simple tricks at my disposal.
Do you have a way to engorge the fruit? Make it larger?
You can engorge my fruit.
I'm looking over. Not that one. Let's see what this one. I don't think I can do anything that would make it seem bigger than it is.
What spells do you have well, you're a cleric, so
Prestidigitation.
Clerics.
I have prestidigitation and thaumaturgy, but neither of those would do that specifically.
What is enlarge? That is, yeah, that's and that only lasts for a minute.
Is enlarge
Well,
Is it a cleric spell at all? Is it something you could?
enlarge isn't. But what he says is, what we need is a strigil.
remind me
Strigil would
what
know how
that
to
is?
do this.
What,
So
what-
strigils are basically like a servitor class of cleric, and sometimes wizard.
Yeah, they're basically second
only
level
ever. Yeah, there's like they don't. As far as exarchs go, they have never actually gone through the full process of becoming a true exarch, so they stop at second level. And then they basically hire themselves out to wealthy individuals, the powerful, and they act as household staff, whose sole job is to make the lives of the rich and powerful better. So they will use spells like mending to make the clothes of the wealthy pristine, white, and clean. They'll use their magic to sweeten food, to enhance flavor, to clean house, to wash. I mean, just everything you
Fantasia
can imagine.
magic.
Fantasia magic, basically. So the sorcerer's apprentice, basically, kind of
Well,
stuff.
I can't make it appear larger, but I can certainly enhance its smell and its taste.
That could get us a few more gold out of it. We will need to provide a small sample. Basically, when you do that, you take a needle and you poke the pharaoh fruit, coating it in its sticky goodness, and that gets passed one each to the potential buyers to taste. Oftentimes, it will be tasted by their personal strigils, who have a much more delicate palate, typically. Amongst the things that strigils do is wine tasting, so perhaps that. But so yes, yeah, I think that might be how to go.
The only issue being, I think in order to make it taste more desirable, I would have to understand what properties need to be shifted. Is there a way that we can sample it and you can tell me what to make it more like?
Well, I can certainly. We can do the needle test.
This is what I'm.
I think we've all learned to taste, haven't we?
I mean, it would be lovely to taste it, but also perhaps with your tutelage, you could show me exactly what needs to be enhanced about it.
Well, if you don't mind, I will taste it now.
I think it's only fair.
I think we have an agreement, though we have not yet settled on points.
I think if we can do this, it'll up the price. It'll make my cut larger, potentially. So I won't be able to hire as many security guards, if you're fine with that.
I think
but
we'd all
we
look
should-
at Crocus. Crocus,
Yeah.
are you fine with that? Basically soloing security. I mean, not that we won't help, but you're the deterrent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should be able to hire 2 others in addition to my personal staff that I already have on hand.
And if we need to, we'll enlist pressure and what was the halfling's name?
Laj.
Laj Abish, right? We might bring a few other friends too, just to be on the safe side. As well as, there's a few the verdant revivalists don't want to see us do this. They don't want to see us go make 20 gold pieces off this fruit. Okay, so great. And I think generally, Aaron, now I think you see what I was kind of thinking. Like, here's some, hooks that you might pick up down the line. Like, we don't need to get there tonight. This would be like when we pick up again later. For now, it's time for Crocus to feast, right? Which I assume this guy's not going to give us a problem now that we've brought him this deal, right? So,
no.
Okay, cool.
But first, we taste this needly fruit.
Right? Yeah. No. Definitely.
So, and I would just say that he does. He gets some very thin needles from the back. Comes back out. They're actually silver needles, and they're specially made for this. This is not my first. How do they say Nibine rodeo? I want to hear Nessa say that if she shows up. This ain't my first rodeo. And real quick, I was going to look up, just so you know, I think that there is a specific individual named who runs the Giant's Rest.
I know you gave him my name. I couldn't find him in my notes, so I know we talked.
I think I remember saying that I would let you know. So
that's fine.
Rick Hanks.
His name's Chad.
And it's not the Giant's Rest. It's the Drunken Giant. That's where we are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got that wrong.
Yeah, no worries.
Wait a minute.
I'm the giant drunk.
Wait. No, there's the Giant's Rest and there's the Drunken Giant. Drunken Giant we hadn't gone to yet.
Oh, right. That's on the other side.
Drunken Giant is when I wake up tomorrow where I'm going.
Giant's Rest.
Katendeo is supposedly there.
Oh, right.
Did I make this place up? Because it is not listed under Shadow Square.
You described this is where we met
Rat's
for
Nest.
the first time. I don't know if you made it up.
Oh wait, no, this is the Midnight Sands, not the Drunken Giant.
Oh,
the
okay.
Midnight Sands. Yeah.
It's the place where foodie thieves go to spend their money.
Yeah, as described, the Midnight Sands has more atmosphere than the others, attempting to lure the important merchant trade and other visitors to the city. It boasts large cushioned booths with sheer silken curtains fluttering in the breeze, scented oil lamps, and winsome serving girls. Jeez, second edition. Its lavish approach does seem to encourage business, but its prices are nearly twice those of other wine shops in the square. But no name for the merchant, so why don't we call, or the proprietor, so why don't we call him Haddish.
Haddish, okay. Of the Midnight Sands. Okay.
Hit Haddish of the Midnight Sands. Okay.
Nice.
He tastes it, so he basically just takes the silver needle, he inserts it delicately into the pharaoh fruit along the long axis, basically piercing where the stem, where the blossom remnant is, so as not to blemish the flesh itself or cause any bruising. He extracts it. You can see as he extracts it, there is a glistening jelly basically that sticks to it. He takes it, he puts it up to his nose and smells. He kind of waves it in the air a bit. Smells again. He kind of just delicately touches it to the tip of his tongue, and then he lays it down basically across, perpendicular to his tongue, and then he rolls it across his tongue. Like he just sticks his tongue completely out and then rolls it up his tongue. Just the slightest hint of tartness remains. It could have used perhaps 2 more hours in the sun. 2 to 2 hours to another day. At the most, it was close. It certainly could be larger. Not much. And then he spouts off a bunch of like, pretentious kind of like
Right.
wine shit. The bouquet, and there's
Right.
hints of elderflower and powdered dung, just at the very tip. But sweet dung. Kank.
So
You're supposed to sell this thing, right?
now that you have,
I mean, like Kank.
No,
There's certain animals in Athos
Something
that
umami
yeah,
to it, right?
yeah. It's an umami flavor that whatever. So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry.
Now that you have a deep,
Umami.
now that you have a deep understanding of this particular
The
fruit,
peanut gallery has an opinion.
my character is speaking to another character in the game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put myself on mute.
Now that you have a deeper understanding of this particular fruit's properties, let's start with the scent. Dip that needle again. Show me the scent and tell me how it could be altered.
So he says, you definitely want to take the earthiness down, and bring the sweetness up more. We want those hints of kank dung to be just ever so suggestive in the air. That huskiness, that just slight. Take that down, bring that sweetness up, and then in terms of the taste, really all that needs to happen is just eliminate that tartness that is just at the very tail end.
Without turning up the sweetness?
No, no more sweetness. The sweetness should be smelled first. You don't want it to overpower the kank nectar that it has been steeped in is plenty.
Okay, so I take those notes into account. I smell it with my own nose, taste it with my own tongue, and then give it to him for final.
It's the most delicious thing you've ever. Just this little stickiness that you roll against your tongue is like the Seinfeld Soup Nazi episode where Elaine like goes, "Oh my god, I gotta sit down," and you get weak. Like you do, you literally have to sit down when you taste it.
Wow, awesome.
Right.
Well, Ma'ak will be actually waggling his antennae. He'll just taste the air, right?
Yeah.
So is it enough, or does he need to get some on his tongue too?
Just the scent, I guess for you, like the scent, as long as you
Smell
get
and
within
taste
5
is kind of
feet.
the same. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's much, especially for you, because your antennae, and you only need to be like 5 feet from it for you to have that antennae sensory effect. I don't know. I wonder if Thrycreen would find this like kind of sickly sweetness.
I mean, we'd probably like
to be
pink
palatable
nectar just as much as anyone else, right? So
yeah, I guess because like ants like go nuts over sugar.
Sugar, sweetness.
So for you, it's probably even more so.
Shit.
Nice.
Yeah. Bring back any memories?
You'd have to give me that
All right.
ancestral
Yeah, I will.
check.
Well, let's go history. Boom. And nat 20 for a 25.
Oh shit. So yeah, you have a ancestral memory of. It was actually the end of that life.
Oh yeah.
You were a young Thri-kreen, raiding along the Tyr Valley, ages and ages ago, it would seem. It was about this time of year. The pharaoh fruit was ripening, and you had not yet been adequately warned against pilfering from the estates of the wealthy. And you found you were discovered after having devoured 5 of these fruit, and you were summarily executed on the spot in a
for sure.
horrible fashion.
I bet.
So that memory begins
6.
so sweet, and it ends with your arms being all of your legs being pulled out of your thorax and abdomen.
Right. But it was the sweetest strawberry, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, now Ma'ak knows, like, oh, this is my karma. I'm back here.
Yeah.
I gotta not eat this fruit this time. I gotta, all right. So where he was probably almost like about to, and then whoop, nope, okay. Awesome. So if we can, let's make sure everybody gets a taste.
And Geza will make sure now to adjust the fruit itself before the needle is put in, so that the nectar that's pulled out for everyone doesn't have to be individually flavored, and also just to prove that this works.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. And what are you using to do that?
I'm using prestidigitation. I am flavoring up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour.
Okay, cool. So and then you can just redo the same thing then during the auction.
Yes, and also
so yeah,
another effect of prestidigitation that both of these effects can overlap is I can also instantaneously create a scent of my choosing to go along with it. So enhancing the smell as well as the flavor.
Cool. Okay, sweet. So you do so, and it works. Just give me a I would say a medicine check on this.
And that is going to be an 18.
Okay, yeah. You do so, and then when Hadish tastes it again, he goes, "You would make a fine strigil. A very fine strigil."
Yeah.
This may well enhance the flavor, or enhance the value of this to 35 to 40 gold. We could make a handsome profit off of this.
I should hope so.
If you can pull this off tomorrow, I might have more work for you in the future.
You know where to find us.
Okay.
Right.
All right, so
nice.
Suppose we can move to the feasting.
Yeah, well, I imagine at this point they're starting to bring out what food they have, and Kraukus can start tucking in. I don't know if Haxa does too, but we'll probably all eat some.
Haxa can't fit in here.
Oh,
she
really?
Can't actually fit through the door. Yeah, so she's been outside. So you can take, Haxa doesn't really care for, people food anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So,
well, hopefully she can keep guard or what have you. But again, be careful about showing that dagger just yet. And we'll go from there. So, Kraukus, as you are feasting and filling your belly and just the satisfaction of a day's hard work, you can't help but find your memories or your mind wandering to those strange broken memories that have sort of resurfaced. These ideas of this wild child, this bestial shadow self. Who can really say what this entity or thing represents to you, but it does seem that you are starting to integrate it more, perhaps. So the question remains, you are, of course, confused what it is, what it might mean, but you find yourself probably ruminating on perhaps one of any of the following three instances. Probably the first time you remember seeing that boy, probably the strongest time you remember seeing that boy, and then perhaps the time that it coincided with what you might consider to be your most important career move, as far as a gladiator is concerned. They all sort of tie together. So we're getting close to being able to take a break. So when we come back from that, that's when we'll have you decide, perhaps, which of those memories you might want to explore a little more. And particularly, since you are probably troubled by them, at least confused, if not actually troubled, Ma'ak would certainly assist if you wanted to use Metaconcert to explore it as well.
Okay.
And then you could share your memories, and it would be almost like we relived them.
Okay, yeah. So we'll take a break.
Again, those three choices are the first time, the strongest time, and the one tied most to your career success, or at least the beginning of your career success.
Okay.
All right. And then I guess we'll take a break. Cool?
Yep. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Awesome.
All right, we're back.
Awesome. Well, Crocus, let's pick up with you. When we last left, you were stuffing your face with what was probably some of the best eats this side of Shadow Square. But at some point, you feel the familiar ping of Ma'ak's telepathic voice in your mind. He says, Crocus, could not help but notice you seem very preoccupied today. What is it that is on your mind that troubles you so?
Just memories. Thinking.
Would it help you to share those memories? Perhaps I can help you unravel them. What memories are you experiencing?
It's hard to tell you. There's an anger in me, and it feels like this. And then I try to bring you into that memory of the strongest.
Very well, Graukas, very well. So, the Dark Sun was particularly merciless that day. For since you could walk, you have borne loads of heavy materials to and fro, up and down treacherous inclines, day in and day out for your cruel masters. Larger than other half-giants your age, only the laborious size of the load you carry provides any respite at all from the sun's harsh rays, which threaten to tan your skin into leather. What was the nearly 1,000-pound load you were carrying on your back that day, Krampus? Was it stone? Was it lumber? Or was it bricks of salt?
Bricks of salt.
Bricks of salt. It tells us where you're from, Krampus. Noosed about the neck, along a long strand of giant's hair, long strand of giant's hair rope, with over a dozen other unfortunate slaves of various stripes, all forced to set pace with one another, lest they risk individual strangulation or collective doom as they all plummet to their death down that rocky, treacherous, salty cliffside. While you will truly never forget the truth of it, tell me, Crocus, what caused you to lose your footing that day? Was it your doing, or was it another?
It was another.
Does Crocus remember what happened that day? Do you remember as if you could practically relive it? And if we can imagine, we are joined Ma'ak would maybe share this with all of you, as Crocus is sharing it with him. The terror of tumbling down a cliffside, being scratched and bruised and falling, a noose around your neck with a dozen other unfortunate slaves being dragged behind you. And suddenly your fall is arrested. If you can imagine, there were 6 individuals still attached to the rope that you are now dangling from. So, Aaron, if you could, let's diagram this out. Crocus, you'll of course be Crocus, and the rest of you will be these other unfortunate slaves. So, Aaron, if you could, let's start with at the top of the screen there, maybe the top quarter. Let's draw a upward-facing equilateral triangle. That will be the rock that you guys are dangling from. Okay, so
like Like that?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. All right. So now imagine that there's a rope dangling over top of that off to both the left and the right side. Great. Okay. Now on the left side, the lowest position is going to be Crocus. All right. And Crocus, you had at the time been carrying about 1,000 pounds of salt and bricks, right? To which you will still be strapped to your back. 1 die 10 times 100 pounds of it. So you might have not lost any of it. You might have lost all but like 100 pounds of it. We're going to figure out how much weight is on each side. Okay. Above Crocus, that is a half elf. Okay.
Like here?
Yep, right about there. And above him, you can see where the rope is starting to fray. This isn't to scale, this is whatever. But the rope is starting to fray where a third person had been attached and has since broken loose and fallen down the cliffside to their doom. So the rope is going to break at some point on the left side. On the right side, there are 4 dangling figures. The top one is right next to the edge of the rock there, and he is being strangled as the weight of Crocus is pulling him tight against the rock there. All right, so say that's a human. Okay, and that'll be an NPC. Nobody's playing that guy. Beneath that human is a second human who is still alive and currently being strangled. All of you are going to be carrying weights too, right? In theory, you are all carrying as much salt as you weigh. So if you're a 100-pound human, you're carrying 100 pounds of salt. Crocus is a 1,000-pound half giant carrying 1,000 pounds of salt, right? That's where these weights are coming from. Beneath that is a halfling. Yep, right about there. And the halfling is not carrying salt. The halfling is carrying the tools. All right, so saws, little hatchets, other sharp objects, about 50 pounds of it, because the halfling weighs about 50 pounds. And then finally beneath the halfling at the edge of that rope is a dwarf. So if you can imagine, you're all weigh different amounts and you are carrying different weights, but of course, if you have a weight on your back, you're going to be at disadvantage for anything you want to do until you can free yourself. So
quick question, just the triangular shape, what does that represent?
That's sort of the rock that they're stuck on, right? They were tumbling down the mountain and then the rope got hung up, right?
I see. So like it's kind of like it
would be smaller. It'd be way smaller,
like this.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
This is all the cliff face here.
Yep, exactly.
And
then there is one more
shape protrusion.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of Wile E. Coyote sort of promontory of rock, if you can imagine, right? And then there would be one more person basically on the right side, but on top of the rock, who got their head bashed open when they fell. So that person is already dead. So he's just quote unquote dead weight on what is now the right side of the rope. So it's slightly heavier on the Crocus side, and that's what's throttling the topmost human. So basically, one of you will play the half elf on the left side. One of you will play the human dangling there in the second place. One will take on the role of the halfling, and one will be the dwarf. So let you guys decide who wants to.
That's a half elf above Crocus, and then on the other side we've got human, halfling, and dwarf.
Human, halfling, dwarf. Yeah, and there's like one more human on top of the rock, but he's already dead.
Okay.
So.
I guess I'll be the halfling.
Okay, cool. Now, here's the thing. To simplify this, right, we're only really worried about making ability check rolls. And in this case, we only really care about 3 abilities: strength, dex, and con. Okay, so the human has +3 strength. The halfling has +3 dex. and the dwarf has +3 con. The half elf has +1 in each of those. So +1 strength, +1 dex, +1 con. And then Craucus, you have +3 con, +5 strength, and your dex is 0.
Okay.
Cool. At this stage in your life, right? You would have been much younger or whatever.
Okay.
Okay. So, what happened this day, Craucus? What happened indeed? And we will, if you can imagine, we open. Oh, sorry, we didn't actually assign the other roles. So.
Oh yeah, I'll take the half elf. Nobody else.
The half elf on that side. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone want the dwarf? Well,
Sounds like we got 2 humans.
Mark, do you want the human or the dwarf, or Emelie? Either of those sound interesting to you? Otherwise, we'll just assign them.
Well, I am clearly 100% human, so I will be human.
All right, sounds good. And to me, age, gender, none of that really matters. I gave them names, but I don't know if Craucus remembers their names. So you guys only have names if Craucus remembers stuff, right? So you tell me, Craucus, do you know their names or not? We'll get there. But for the most part, I think we can just do initiative based on. It's not really initiative because you guys are sort of not necessarily fighting, but we'll say the halfling acts first, the half elf acts second, and then everybody else will be like third, right? So if you can imagine, we open this scene, everyone is hanging from a noose about their neck, a giant hair rope noose that is also attached to a long rope of giant hair that's old and kind of frayed. It's not the best, it's not in the best shape, which is also why it's fraying and starting to split. But if you can imagine, you will also have, an equal amount of weight on your back to your actual weight. So that is, of course, strangling you faster. So we will start with the halfling with a bunch of tools on your back. Do you, so that I actually have just the difficulties for performing different things, right? So speaking and holding your breath is a con check. Dropping a load could be a strength or a dex. Freeing an item could be strength or dex, etc. Right? You tell me what you want to do, and I'll give you the difficulty. In theory, you can strangle faster if you have more weight. Make sense?
Yeah.
So
I'm disappointed that nobody made a poop joke about dropping that load.
First of all, Mark, are you the human above me or the dwarf below me?
I think I'm the dwarf below you.
Okay. Am I being choked from both directions or just from what's below me?
You are basically choking under your own weight currently, right? If you can imagine, it's like a noose that has a short, I don't know what you call the part of the noose that's wrapped, right?
Yeah.
That is what connects to the long rope. So you can imagine it's almost like a string of ornaments is basically what you guys are, right? So if you can free yourself from the noose, you can still hold onto the rope and not be choking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what kind of tools am I carrying?
Well, the halfling has all kinds of sharp stuff, right? So like what you would use to basically mine/quarry salt. Right, so you kind of have like 50 pounds of like little hatchets or like saws, bow saws, kind of things like that. So in theory, if you wanted to, you could free an item, but to do so, you would continue to choke. Does that make sense? Or you could drop these items, and then probably you are light enough that you might not even choke. Uh-oh, did we lose Emelie?
It appears that way. Are we against the rock face?
Where you are dangling.
Can't reach
the wall. You could swing the rope, but that is a combined average dexterity check for everyone who's on your rope. So how far you can swing it.
How far from the rock face are we?
You are, you as the halfling, you are going to be, we'll say, like 10 feet from the nearest rock face to you. Not up, but laterally.
So from here, the only thing that I could grip to make myself not choke would be the rope above myself, and I could just hold myself up.
That's right, and that would be a strength check that you could make.
I want to simultaneously grip the rope above myself with my hands and the rope beneath myself with my feet. Press with my hands and my feet to just hold myself, equally with my legs and my arms.
All right, that's a DC 10 strength check, which you have +0 to.
Okay. That's a 3.
Okay, so you attempt to wrap your feet around, you attempt to pull yourself up, but you just can't seem to find purchase. It's probably the weight on your back continues to pull you down, and before you can get a new gulp, a gasp of air, you're pulled back, and you will basically start to suffocate a little more this round. Anyway, so that's the halfling. After that is the half-elf. So Aaron, what do you think the half-elf did?
Oh, well, yeah, man. And the half-elf has a +1 to...
The half-elf has +1 strength, dex, and con.
Okay.
And we'll say the half-elf weighs 100 pounds and is carrying 100 pounds. So if you wanted to drop the
I definitely
weight
want to drop
carrying,
the weight.
Okay, then you can either make a DC, drop load is either a DC 12 strength check or a DC 15 dexterity to like wiggle out of it. You know what I'm saying?
How far is it down below me?
You will die. If you fall, you will die.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like well over 100-foot drop, right? You can already see people who were basically attached to the rope past the dwarf. That ripped off too. And like 5 people plummeted to their death on that side too.
Okay. Okay, so it's a DC 12, you said?
DC 12 strength, yes.
I have a +1. Nope.
Okay, so trying to wriggle it out, but it gets like hung up on your shoulder blade, and again, the noose just tightens, and this giant hair rope just starts to throttle you. Okay, let's go to let's do the dwarf.
And real quick, just to clarify, I'm assuming too that there's a certain amount of tension on the rope that's starting to increase slowly, because otherwise I imagine that a 2,000-pound weight would just snap my neck.
Yeah, well, okay, you're the only individual weight on you is the weight on your back. The only person who is collectively taking damage is the NPC, the human at the top. Basically, Craucus and the half-elf's weight is pulling against him, and he is basically being throttled against the rock.
Okay.
So he's the one who's suffering that. But yeah, but the half-elf would be next if, for instance, the weights were to shift and suddenly the dwarf's side was the heavier one.
Because it's a loop that exists in the line, so there's not actually tension from...
Right.
Like the tension of Craucus is being held along the length of the line, not also gathered inside the loop.
Exactly. Otherwise, you're right. Your necks would have totally snapped, right? 2,000 pounds, forget it. Your heads would have popped off. Yeah. No, it's more like like a bunch of peppers on a vine.
Yeah.
Right. Like the nooses are the stems coming off. Yeah. You know, and so it's only your own weight that you technically have to worry about. Though Craucus you're all putting weight on the main rope too, which is why it's starting to fray and crack or snap. Yeah. Okay, so again, half-elf. What does the half-elf... Oh, no, sorry, we already resolved that. Half-elf tried to get his salt bricks off his back, and they just got stuck. So after that is the dwarf. The dwarf weighs 200 pounds and is carrying 200 pounds of salt. He is, but he is suffocating slightly slower than the others, mostly because of his constitution, or her constitution, as the case may be. So what does the dwarf do?
Well, if I'm at the end of the rope, literally here, can I drop what I'm carrying and free myself?
Yeah, you can certainly try. So you want to drop what you're carrying. Again, that is either a DC 15 dexterity check or a DC 12 strength, which in your case, I would say probably strength, right? Because that's going to be easier. They're equal for you. So can you get a 12 or higher on a D20?
Oh, it's supposed to be a D20. I rolled a D10.
19.
Excellent. Okay, awesome. So immediately you manage to shrug off that weight, and the tension on your throat relaxes. You are still strangling because you are still a 200-pound dwarf, but you're now not 400 pounds. It's 200 pounds. And so with that, we can say that you start to grab the rope, and next round you can start to pull up and alleviate that. But your action this round was get rid of the bricks, which of course plummet down the mountainside, crash and shatter into dust, which is the fate for all of your skulls and bones should you follow suit. So after the dwarf, we will say is the human also hanging on that side of the rope. What does the human do? Emelie. Oh, I'm sorry. I should also say
am I the
that
first?
human. I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying that human is 150 pounds, carrying 150 pounds. So together is 300.
Am I the highest human or the lowest human?
The second highest human. The highest human is an NPC who is currently being throttled by Craucus's weight.
Right, because there are 3, so I'm the second of 3.
Yes.
The one just above the halfling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I would like to, what are my odds of, like, is the rope around my neck so much that if I could actually sort of, Spider-Man walk up the wall, it would relieve the tension on my neck?
If you could touch the wall, yes. But if you remember, it's like 10 feet for the halfling, so it'd be like 8 for you. 8 or 9. You know, you could swing. In theory, if you got the rope swinging, you could either swing laterally towards the mountainside and maybe grab onto it and alleviate it. Or in theory, you could swing into Craucus and then you could get your ropes hung up. Right? That's not exactly the scale, but technically you could do that with the way the ropes are hanging. You could get them tangled if you want.
That doesn't sound like, yeah. I'm going to try to drop my weight as well.
Okay.
Is that
so you have a DC 12 strength roll and you are at +3.
I'm rolling actual physical dice.
Awesome.
So I got 12, so that's 15?
Which succeeds. Okay, so basically, and we'll say just for the sake of narrative grace, you don't actually hit each other with the stones as you drop them. They fall wide, and you don't drop 150 pounds of salt on the dwarf beneath you, right? That just kind of falls. Same with the half elf. In theory, I should probably make you guys make dex checks, but this is tough enough as it is. Okay, but that is successful, and again, you are still choking, but you are not like dying quite so quick because there's less strain now on your neck. It's just your own body weight. Finally, Craucus. First, let's resolve how much weight made it down the hill with you and how much was alleviated. So again, please roll me a die 10 and times it by 100.
Okay. So 100 pounds.
Oh, nice.
Because
okay,
I rolled
actually,
a 1. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. So basically, if you can imagine, you were probably the first to go tumbling.
Yeah.
Somersaulting down the hill, and as you were doing it, bricks were flying off and tumbling down. So like there's basically just like kind of a net of rope and leather and whatever you can imagine that you guys are all carrying. And most of yours has even torn open and a lot of it is spilled out. Yeah. So like 100 pounds for Craucus is not encumbering. So like for you, you're not choking any worse than you would normally be, right? I mean, you're a heavy half giant. I mean, you're definitely choking.
Yeah.
But you might not need to worry about freeing yourself from the weight the way the other ones do. What does Crocus do?
So I'm currently dangling. I'm going to attempt to find purchase and get my feet under me. So
all right, so you want to swing the rope on your side.
Yes.
You'll have to do that if you want to reach the okay.
Yeah.
So to swing a rope, we take the average dexterity checks of everyone on your rope. So basically the elf, unless the elf is specifically not cooperating, he gets to do this for free, basically assisting Crocus. Make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
So, Aaron, would the elf help Crocus swing, or does he think that's a bad idea, seeing the rope fraying just above his head?
Yeah. How much is it frayed?
Okay.
At this point?
We'll say that if you can imagine the way, also, just so you know, like you can imagine it's braided, right? So there's like three main, weaves of rope. We'll say one of the three has frayed. And so there's like
so
two
it's
left.
a third of the way
but
through.
the second one is starting to go, and when the second one goes, the third is going to be close behind, right?
So and Crocus, you're not taking the weight off your back, right?
All the weight tumbled off me.
Most of it already went down.
You got rid of the weight.
Nice.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is nice. He still weighs
And so
1,000
now
pounds on his own, right?
Yeah.
But
And the swinging is in an effort to entangle with the ones on the other side. Is that right? Or wait, what are we doing?
I'm trying to find purchase on the cliff wall. So I'm trying to swing to a point where I can grab on.
Okay, so instead of swinging left to right, we're swinging front to back.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Let's. We'll.
All right. So both of you roll dex.
Okay.
DC is 10, and unless you fail, then we take the average. So,
And you said I have a 0 in my dex right now?
yes, you do.
Okay.
Sorry, so it's still a 50-50 for you.
Okay.
And actually, Aaron's not much
15.
better. It's 55. 15. Nice. Okay. And what did
5?
5. Okay.
5.
So that means that you basically have managed to swing the rope a foot.
We got an average
From its
10.
Starting spot. Basically,
We've got some momentum.
yeah.
Started.
You were
There's a
going
little
one
bit
way,
of
the
momentum.
elf went the other way, and it started to screw it up. So basically, you just take strangling damage that round. Sorry. And are probably quite frustrated that you were like, oh, that should have worked, and didn't work at all. Okay.
Next round, I might rip him off the rope.
That's a possibility. I mean, it is a possibility. You could definitely sabotage each other. I expected that might happen. Okay, so let's circle back around. Now, in theory, your enslavers, the Templars who run this place, wherever you guys are, in theory, they will eventually come to your quote-unquote aid, but you may be dead by then anyway. So I don't know if anyone would rely on help coming to the rescue, so to speak, but in theory, it is coming one way or another. But top of the order, back to the halfling. What did the halfling do next?
Do I have a blade or a saw, something sharp?
You have a ton of that stuff on your back if you would like to try to free some of it from what you're carrying.
Yeah,
That
I want
is
to grab a sharp implement to cut my noose.
All right. So to free to retrieve an object is either a dex 10 or a strength 12. Basically, you either yank it out with your strength or you wiggle it out with dex. It's not that hard.
My dex wiggles.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
dex
I'm gonna roll the correct dice this time, and so it's a 12 adjusted.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. So we will say that you actually managed to get, it's a few of the teeth have broken off and what have you. It's probably a little rusty, definitely seen better days, but we'll say that you managed to free what is essentially like a 1.5 foot long saw of rusty, well, it wouldn't be rusty if it was made of like copper, but it's something like that, copper or bronze, right? It's super valuable. Super valuable.
Oh, so they are metal.
For some of the stuff, they would have to use metal to free it. I mean, I'm sure there's also bone tools and whatever, but you went for the choice one. This is probably the best thing that you're carrying, right? And you managed to yank it out. So You managed to do that while you are, of course, still choking, but you now have a weapon or a tool, so to speak, that you would be able to use to either free yourself or someone else. Is it yourself that you'd free first, or would you? Well, I guess you'd have to, right?
I have to free myself so that I won't choke out.
Okay, so that was and I mean, we're basically just taking one action each, right? Because this is supposed to be intense. So, but you successfully managed to free the saw. Forgive me. So, next up is the half elf. He just, was swinging on the, middle of this rope, trying to free his weight from his back. What did the elf do next? Oh no, we lost Emelie again.
Oh crap. Well, I definitely need to get rid of that weight on my back because I'm assuming that this is just killing me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to get that. I'm going to try to get that off.
Okay. With a strength check, I take it.
Yeah.
It's probably your best bet. So DC 12 strength.
Okay. Come on, this fucking die. You know what? I'm going to pick a different die because these green die have just been the worst. Oh wait, nope. They're over there. Hold on a second.
The dice jail with thee.
Yeah, this is an emergency. Emergency dice situation. It's gonna sound the sound of a lot of dice tumbling everywhere. Okay, let us use you. 15, 16 modified.
Okay, that succeeds. So what we'll say is, and Crocus was lucky. He probably didn't even see how close the big bag of salt came to smashing into his head as he's swinging back and forth on the rope beneath you. But that goes tumbling down the mountainside, reducing your side by another 100 pounds. So, which alleviates the damage that the hanging human takes every round. He takes based on however much weight is on the other side. So he dies a little slower this round. As you, but that definitely alleviates also the intense choking experience that the elf was suffering from. Yeah. And now you're only choking a little bit from your own weight. Okay, so after that was the dwarf. The dwarf managed to free the weight that was on his back. So what was the next move? To try to climb or free your neck? What would you do?
I would probably like to try and climb up over everyone else to get some purchase and loosen the rope on the rest of them if I can.
Just to climb the rope is not particularly difficult. I mean, it's hard for you because you're on the end, so you have to climb a little bit until you can get your feet, around the rope as well. But I'm gonna make that all just one roll. So that's pretty simple. That climb rope is a strength 10. So which you can do when you don't have weight on your back, right? So, or at least not at disadvantage. So
18.
Strength, nice. All right. Then you can climb at, half your speed, so to speak. So we'll say that you can not easily, but by the end of your action, you've managed to climb, loop the rope around, climb up it with both your hands and your feet, and manage to reach, generally speaking, like where the halfling's feet are, right? Your head and feet are about the same area. Now you're climbing up the rope. And that also means that you do not take choking damage this round because you are supporting your own weight. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So, you've only taken the one. Awesome. All right. After that is the human dangling beneath the other human who you are watching choke to death. And the eyes popping out of his head. Tongue is turning purple and lolling out of the mouth.
Do I have an item that's either a knife or a rock where I could try to cut away the rope to everything beneath me?
If you don't have a tool, you can see the halfling has the tools. If you wanted, you could try to maybe free a sharp piece of salt rock. That might work.
What I would do is I'd be like, halfling, throw me up a knife so I can cut this damn rope around my neck. Yoink!
Right?
Well,
I mean,
but that doesn't alleviate the pressure on your neck.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Is that what you want to do? You want to try to retrieve a sharp object?
Rocked away the remaining weight.
No. He explained that the weight that is choking you is only your own weight. The weight beneath you is being held by the rope in the same way that a cherry stem connects to like the main plant. The stem itself holds the cherry, but the other cherries beneath are not.
Imagine that the main rope is just one line, and then there are loops tied to that line.
Exactly.
That have been.
Sorry, my internet connection is particularly rubbish. I'm getting like maybe every other word. Okay, but would it not be the case where if I alleviated the weight on my side, the weight on the other side would pull me up to the surface?
Potentially.
Potentially.
Yeah. Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Okay, then if you want to try to retrieve basically an impromptu tool from your bag of salt, that would either be a Dex 10 or a Strength 12. Not so bad. You could make that Dex probably.
Would be a better try for me as a human though, right? Because I get +3 to strength.
To Dex, but yeah.
Okay.
This
All right,
reminds
here we
me
go.
of like those
I rolled
games
an
you
11.
always see like.
Sorry, Emily, what did you roll?
11.
11. Okay. Well, all right. You managed to get a shard of rock salt that kind of like comes to a point. It's a little crystalline or whatever. You might be able to like get it in between and, you know, rip it or slice it or whatever. So that, you know, if you want to cut a rope, you have to have 3, not consecutive, but you need 3 successes. Basically, you need to get through all 3 of those strands, right? And if you're using an impromptu tool, you're going to have disadvantage on that because it's not designed to cut a rope the way maybe the saw would be, for instance, right? But you at least feel pretty confident you have a halfway decent tool, and if you had to stab somebody with it, it would definitely be fine. You'd definitely stab somebody with it. Okay, awesome. And is that everybody? That is everybody, right? Oh no, Crocus. Crocus is last. So sorry, Crocus. Right. Are you swinging again, or are you going to try something else?
I guess I'm going to. I'm trying to think if there is because swinging is not my best option. So I'm trying to think if there's a way that I could muscle my ass over there.
To the other rope, you mean?
Just to a safe purchase point. If it's to the other rope or if it's to the cliff itself.
Yeah. Well, it was my fault that we didn't get it wasn't your fault. It was my fault.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to work together with whoever's on the rope with you, right? It's kind of the idea.
Also,
you can try it again.
Climb straight up over the.
Or you could climb straight up. That's a pretty easy strength roll for you.
Then I will attempt to climb straight up. And so at this point, I get a +5 to my strength, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So I'm going to try to climb over him. And I got a gentle 20.
A gentle 20 is more than enough. You manage to climb till you are even with the half-elf. And if you want, you can even climb a little higher. And that half-elf would suddenly be below you. However, to do that, you would then need to grip onto the part of the rope that is fraying. Or you might make some crazy, athletics sort of roll and try to leap past it and grab the rock.
I'll try to leap past it and grab the rock.
Yeah, it's
go
gonna
big
be hard.
Or go home. Yeah,
it's gonna be super hard.
Athletics is what I'm good at, though.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, in this point, we're just making strength, but go ahead, make me that strength roll.
Okay.
This may be why you got so good at
21.
Fuck! Nice, dude. Okay, so what we'll say is that you managed to climb up the rope, actually very agilely, all things considered. With one arm, you basically flex, reach past the half-elf, probably elbow him in the process, and manage to get your big, meaty fingers in, like, around the purchase of the rock, which at that point, suddenly all the other weight on the other side where the humans and the dwarf are, they suddenly, like, they drop 10 feet, right? Maybe even 15, as like that side of the rope starts to fall, but that stops the hanging human from, like, basically being throttled to death. Like, now he is just generally being strangled as opposed to, like, being strangled by a truck or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, nice. That's great. Good move, Crocus. Of course, that also means that the weight of everybody else is suddenly becoming your responsibility.
Oh, I'm gonna rip that off.
Okay.
So
round,
they
we'll see what happens.
they're gonna have to fight to not be dead.
Yeah, right. Okay, so switching back to the halfling, you suddenly, like, your stomach is in your throat as you fall 10 feet, and then suddenly you're arrested once again. You thought for sure that was it, but nope, you're still hanging there, and you still have the saw in your hand with the dwarf right next to you, and the two humans dangling just above you. One of them probably eyeing your saw very greedily. What does the halfling do?
I saw my noose off so that I can climb up the rope myself.
Okay. To cut, like I said, it's either 3 successes, or if you manage to get a 20, that's an instant success, and you cut through the rope in 1 round. But it's only a DC 10, and you can use strength or dex, or technically even con if you wanted to make it an endurance sort of thing. It was just, sawing away at it or whatever. But you pick whichever stat you want to roll. Hit a 10 or higher.
There's no bonus for my copper saw?
No, it's a cutting device.
Okay.
Otherwise, you would have disadvantage on this roll. Like, if Emily's character was trying to do the same thing, they'd have disadvantage on the roll to cut.
Okay.
All right. So getting a nat 20 is basically impossible. You have to roll 2 20s.
How about a 3?
How about a 3? A 3 fails. So
there we go. I guess that's what happened.
Yeah. So you start to cut, and sure enough, giant hair is notoriously sturdy, and it's never felt more sturdy than right now, as you cannot seem to cut through it, and you will take another point of strangulation. Okay. After that is the half-elf, who is still strangling, still hanging from the rope, but now it's on a loop.
I assume I'm up against the rock now.
Well, okay, actually,
I've gone up.
If anything, you're clinging onto Crocus.
Okay.
Right? Because Crocus is hanging off the rock above you.
Okay. So I haven't quite been pulled up against.
Yeah, Crocus climbed past you.
Right, but then when the rope starts to go 10 feet down on the other side, does he get pulled past Crocus?
Oh yeah, no, it would tighten up. Basically, we'll say it's sort of you're all in the same square, right? You all got tangled together. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna pull a Barbarian Brothers and just flex my neck until the rope bursts. No.
Well, if you want to free yourself from choking, that'd be funny. I should let that be a con roll, like pop. But if you want to free yourself from choking, that's a DC 12 Dex or DC 15 Strength, where it's just strength.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, at this point, I think I'm probably grabbing the rope and trying to pull myself up.
And you dropped your weight, so you are not at disadvantage on this. This is just a normal strength. So go ahead and give me that roll, please.
What's the DC on that?
Strength is. Sorry, what did I say? Strength is 15.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Nope. Got a 10.
Nope. Oh, ouch, buddy. All right. They are Crocus. Everyone is about to die.
Mhm.
They are running out of air. They're running out of time.
Okay.
Okay. After half elf is the dwarf, who also, again, you felt that drop and the sudden stop, which actually technically, if I think about it, 10-foot drop is probably enough to break all your necks, isn't it?
Yeah.
It depends on if there's.
But, well, I imagine like it probably wasn't. It's obviously not a fast drop because there's friction across the
Yeah.
No, you're right.
at the top.
It wasn't
so
all
it
at
would be
once
slow.
either.
Right, and not only that,
Yeah.
there would actually be another body that would now tumble off the side of the rock, dead there with his head caved in from the fall. But yeah, you would see that guy above the other, now no longer choking human. Well, not choking super fast human. But okay, sorry. So the dwarf. What did the dwarf do next?
Can I kill myself?
Guess you could. Does that mean you try to free yourself from the rope, or what do you do?
So I'm on this drawing. Where am I now?
The bottom.
You're
down
still
at
the bottom.
But I thought I climbed up.
Did you?
Well, okay, you're right. That you're actually at the same spot that the halfling is.
Okay, let me make an adjustment.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Come on, damn it.
Well, if I'm going to try and remove it from the noose from my neck. Is what I'm gonna try and do, I
great.
guess.
So again, that is a strength 15 or dex 12. I imagine dex 12 because those are both +0 for you.
Primo artwork here.
Nope.
No? Well, I didn't actually expect everyone to live. But yeah, I think you're all gonna die on the end of these ropes. Okay. There is just the Emelie's human, and then it'll be Crocus's action. So what did the human do next?
In the name of chaos, I'm going to continue on this harebrained idea. I'm going to start trying to saw the rope. But I want to saw the rope. I want to hold on to the rope above and saw between my hand and my neck.
Gotcha.
So the rope as it's connected to my neck will break, but my hand will be on the rope above.
All right. So go ahead and make me strength DC 10. Well, but at disadvantage. Sorry, because you're using a non-correct tool.
Right.
Big
so one
money.
of my rolls was a 17.
Mm-hmm.
My other roll was a 15.
Nice. That's a success. So basically, one of the three weaves of the rope snaps and starts to unravel and starts to slip, but you still have your hand above your head. You can feel it starting to go.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way you just described that, you're cutting the rope above your noose.
But below my
In my
head.
mind, what that says to me is that if you succeed in cutting all three strands, you will be attached to everyone below you.
Below me,
you
and
will
I'll have to
fall.
hold on to the rope.
But you will then be choked by the weight of everyone else.
Right.
Yeah, I will. I didn't even get through, but let's go with it.
Yeah, I mean,
In
chaos.
the spur of the moment, you might panic and do something crazy.
Yeah,
like
you
that,
just
right?
chose a bad spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely, was not thinking it through.
Okay. Crocus.
Yes.
With one hand, you hang on the edge of this rocky promontory.
Okay.
With the other, you basically have like kind of the rope around your arm, and this elf is sort of dangling on your waist. You're not really, or a half elf, whatever, is sort of dangling there.
Okay.
But that's all immaterial weight to you.
Yeah.
It's still only about 200 pounds. No big deal.
Okay.
What does Crocus do?
Okay, so I am. Man, am I at a point where I feel like I'm secure and can take account of my situation?
I mean, no, you're panicking that you're about to die. You are safe in the fact that you are not strangling to death this very second, but
Okay.
you are nowhere near out of a precarious situation. You could fall at any moment. Any of if they fall, they might take you with them.
Okay, so first thing, I'm going to try to break the rope from around my neck.
Okay.
And try to continue climbing, as long as I feel like that's something that I can do in this moment.
All right, well, let's resolve freeing first.
Okay.
So, like we said, that was a DC 15 strength check.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try that. Big money. Hell yeah, 22.
Nice. Okay, so basically with one hand you're hanging on, the other is wrapped up, but you managed to get it around your neck, and then with almost disdainful, like, oh, I probably could have done this anytime I wanted to.
Yeah.
Snap it in like one just jerk. Pew,
Yeah.
as the giant hair just frays, and all of that comes loose and falls down. The mountain's side, meaning that you are not technically attached to the noose by your neck, but you are still sort of entangled with the elf and the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
So, but that at least you do not take choking damage this round. So that's nice. And everyone else, basically, as you start to climb, the rest of the rope will continue to slide. For every foot you gain, they will lose a foot, right?
Okay.
So that is basically where we will end that round and turn it back to the halfling.
Okay.
So danger is looming nigh. What does the halfling do?
This tool is shit. I'm dropping it in a panic.
Okay.
And I have to roll a 15 to do strength to get out of my thing, or a 12 to use dex to get out of my noose. Is that
Correct.
I'm just gonna drop the thing and try to slip my little dexterous body out of that noose.
All right. Give me that dex roll then, please.
12,
I'm sorry.
12.
You're still carrying all the tools, though, right? You didn't drop your bag, so you were at disadvantage.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, 12 adjusted, or do I roll worse? Let's find out. I rolled worse. It's a 6.
So you almost managed to get free, and then the Crocus gains another foot, and the rope drops, and suddenly you lose your place, and you're choking again.
To be fair, I did drop one of my tools.
Okay. Yeah. That's not enough to affect the mechanics of this little adventure.
Yeah.
But we will now shift to the half-elf, who is basically literally tied up with Crocus.
I'm gonna try the same thing again. Try to pull that noose off my head.
Okay. DC 12 dex check, please. And you are not at disadvantage because you dropped your weight.
Okay. Damn it. 6.
Shit. Yep. Sorry. The gods are just not with you guys. As fate seems to have other plans for this poor group of unfortunates. The dwarf acts next.
Dwarf?
Mark, did you want to keep climbing, or what did you want to do?
I'm going to keep trying to... If I'm choking out, I need to be breathing before I can continue climbing.
No, because you managed to climb, that weight's not on your neck anymore. You're supporting your own weight at this point. So unless you dropped, you wouldn't be choking.
But
right? I mean, the noose is still around your neck, but it's not throttling you. Okay?
But also, if you climb much higher, it will then be tight from our weight below you at that point. Like right now, there's no weight on it because you were at the bottom. But if you get up too far above us, then there
eventually,
will be
yeah, exactly. The halfling.
Yeah. What's the distance between nooses?
Okay, so I figured it was probably 10 feet noose to noose. That would keep you guys from actually like interfering with each other. Like I could take something off your bag or whatever. Actually, probably even 15 feet would be more correct, but we'll say 10 for simplicity's sake. So he climbed, we'll say you've climbed 20 feet now, so that is basically getting you to where you'll have to support the halfling next round. Oh, actually, and I didn't even have you roll that strength. It's only a strength 10 to climb the rope, though.
But yeah, if you go any higher without removing your noose, then you're responsible for other people's weight.
Well, then let's try and remove the noose.
Okay, well then, Dex 12, please.
Okay. $19.
Nice. Right. So you managed to actually get your hand like under and then pop it all off like over the ear and then over the head, and you gasp like your first real breath of air in what is probably close to a minute now. And you're still hanging on. So you are actually probably in the best shape of everyone, except maybe potentially Crocus. And by freeing yourself from the noose, you're no longer in danger of the other ones beneath you, above you, whatever, right? Choking you out now.
But so I can still fall to my death.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you may still do that.
Silver linings.
Excellent. Yep, so true. Okay, so after the dwarf was Emelie's human. You still sawing away at the...
I'm going to start sawing away at my noose, unless it's easier to just try and take it off, like the door.
Seems like it's easier to just take it off, because that would require 3 successes to get through the noose.
Yeah, if you were going to cut it. It's more like if you were going to cut the giant rope and everyone below you would fall. That was more what that was for.
Okay, so let's try to just get the noose off my neck.
All right, well, that is a DC 12 dexterity, and you're at +3. So, pretty good chance. Oh, but you're at disadvantage because you still have those tools on your back.
Oh, no, I dropped them. That was my first thing.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. You're right. You did. I'm confusing you. So, no, actually,
right.
you're at +0 then. I was looking at the halfling. Sorry.
I rolled an 18 anyway.
Perfect. So you also managed to free yourself. You managed to draw in one raspy, desperate breath, and then you're breathing again. Now you're still hanging there with everyone else, and the dwarf is probably next round will probably
gaining on me.
Scramble past you too. But at least you're not, you, the halfling, and the dwarf, you're all kind of getting caught up with each other too. But last was Crocus. What does Crocus do?
All right, so I am free of my noose. I am still holding onto the rope, but I'm still entangled with the half-elf, correct?
Correct. So you're basically bearing his weight. You're carrying him, if you can imagine.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, so I'm going to try to climb a little bit further up this rocky promenade to get to feel like, okay, I have something under me.
Okay.
So that's all right. That's what I'm doing.
That's strength climb check, please.
Okay. I got a 7.
Okay. Shit. What would happen? All right. It's my turn to roll something. Let me pull out one of my dice. There we go. All right. Okay, Crocus. You're climbing up the rock. Finally feel like you have some purchase. You have some weight beneath you, something to support you. You just start to get your knee up. You got both hands. Now you get your knee. You're dragging that elf up behind you as you're doing so.
Yeah. And
suddenly the rock that you put your knee on cracks. And the whole thing just goes. All of it just goes beneath, and you fall. You feel the rope go taut. And let's see. Not the time for a nat 1, guys. Sorry. So what we'll say is Crocus's 1,000-pound weight is put fully to bear on the part of the rope that's already fraying on the corner of that rock, and it snaps. And in an instant, it zips over the triangle, and all of you plummet. Crowcus.
How did you get out of this?
You're probably the first to fall, but they're all falling next to you, screaming as the ground rises up to meet you. You actually you were looking up as that was happening, up at your falling companions, when your back collides with the stony floor of the canyon below. But you somehow fall through it into a cave of darkness. And in that cave is where you saw the strongest image in your memories of this feral spirit. Actually, let me ask you, Aaron, do you have a lot of ideas of what this is? What it would be doing when he would see it?
Nope.
All right. Well, I have some ideas. So since this is, in your memories, Crowcus, the clearest picture you've had, and perhaps it's even Ma'ak who helps you riddle this out later, but what you see is almost a spiritual twin, but you can think about it almost like it's an ancestral spirit as well. Maybe this is almost like the power of one of your ancestors being passed down from generation to generation that you have finally inherited. The power of your blood, perhaps. This would be maybe the first time it touched you, like in the dream, perhaps. I don't know what exactly happened. These are, blurry memories, of course. But this is still probably the clearest that you would have had. And you dreamed that for some time until, oddly enough, you were awakened by one of your Templar masters and a group of slaves who managed to find you at the bottom of this ravine, to which they murmur to one another and say the word, "Remarkable, he lived." And that's when we'll pan back to the Midnight Sands. Such troubling experiences, Crowcus. I am sorry for you.
Through large mouthfuls of food, I murmur, "No, it's okay."
You are a remarkable specimen, Crowcus. And this spirit, or whatever it is that you keep seeing, I am inclined to think that perhaps that is a psychic manifestation of your own wild talent. Perhaps whatever it is that makes you so unkillable. Yes?
So what I'm seeing is a part of me.
That's right. That's exactly right. It is your power being integrated, it would seem. In time, you may even be able to, or you may learn to harness it with your will, as opposed to, it seems up till now, it had been a innate activation. Perhaps it only worked when you were unconscious by instinct. But now that you know, perhaps you can harness it in your waking life as well.
And what does that mean for me?
That I would imagine you would become even more unkillable. But I would be curious to know what else you have experienced. It may give us deeper insights. And guys, I mean, it's 9:30 here. I don't know how late you wanted to go. I got at least one of the stories in, but we can do this more tonight. We can do it another time. I don't want to keep you if you want to call it, but I'm good to go if you guys want to do some more mini games, which is basically what I made these into.
How is everyone feeling?
Down for whatever.
Yeah, I
We
could
could do one more.
I was planning on being here till 7:30 anyway, so.
Okay.
Got- Yeah.
Yeah, we could do another one.
Mini
awesome.
game. Mini game.
Awesome. All right, so Crocus.
I am gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. Cool.
Do we want to take a quick little piddle spell?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a quick 5, and then we'll
Okay.
come back and we'll do either your earliest memory or your most career-altering one.
Okay. All right. We'll be
Whichever
back
one
in,
you'd rather do.
We'll be back in 5.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right, we back.
Awesome. All right. So, Crocus.
Yes.
Obviously, you have quite a bit to think about now that Ma'ak has helped you clarify some of those memories. But that is not all that has been plaguing you, no doubt. What is there another memory you would like Ma'ak's help in exploring?
Now, when I was young, the first time I saw this, I don't like to think about it.
Was that troubling for you as well? Well, we will experience it together, and perhaps it will gain new clarity for you.
I smash a quick pint as we prepare for this.
Fair point. And to that guy's credit, I imagine he keeps the wine and ale flowing and the food fresh and hot, fresh baked bread or farro bread or whatever, all that kind of stuff. And you can eat your fill, which is small comfort as you reminisce on your earliest memories. Poor Crocus. Your earliest memories are a confusing kaleidoscope of suffering. The rhythm of your young life was set to the cruel percussion of the club and punctuated by the hot lick of the lash. From the humiliation of being treated like an animal to the constant dread of what horrors your enslavers had for you next, much has blurred together into a miasma of pain and struggle. Do you remember who even gave you the name Crocus?
It's fuzzy. It's hard to put a face to it.
Can you even recall the last time you saw your mother's face?
No, but I remember she was kind. Not in a touching way, but she was not angry with me like everyone else.
Perhaps we will learn what happened to her. For yours truly is a tale of sorrow. For even the water your tears would waste is too precious to spend on reflection. For despite the myriad uncounted injuries visited upon your body, mind, and spirit, always at your side were the two earliest companions on your hellish trek through life: hunger and thirst. You'll never forget the first day you truly slaked your thirst, but it was not this day. This day, there are only 6 half-giants left. The Templar, he would only provide enough water for you all if it were divided equally. But for the longest time now, that bully, Burf, has been drinking his fill, leaving the rest of you to slowly suffer the ravages of dehydration. So, on to the next minigame. If you can imagine, we have 6 half giants to cast. One is obviously Crocus.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so somebody can play this guy if they want. They don't have to. This guy could totally be an NPC. But there is, if you can imagine, this would be Crocus in a like preteen, right? 11, 12 years old, right? Not yet even a teenager. In the company of other half giants about the same age, right? Some older, some younger. But the oldest of the group is probably the first bully that Crocus ever knew.
Someone has to be my bully.
This guy was it. Probably even to this day, when you close your eyes and you think about punching somebody, it's probably this guy. His name was Burf, B-U-R-F. Okay.
Which one of you fuckers is gonna be Burf? I need one of
Somebody
you.
can play Burf if they want. Otherwise, I'll run him.
I'll be Burf. I don't care.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you can imagine, Burf is big, luggish, brutish, thuggish, a bully, cruel, and stupid. Right? The perfect bully. Right?
It's just optimized bully.
Optimized bully. Right? But if you could imagine, every day, and since we said you were a salt miner, that means you are from south of Nibene, southwest, particularly, from those salt cliffs where there's lots of salt mines and stuff like that. That's where you were born, that's where you were raised, and you were a slave from day one, hauling salt up and down these hills and mountains and stuff. And that was what these other guys did too. Burf and the like, they all had their own chain gangs, if you can imagine. Yeah. Right? That they set the pace for, so to speak. But okay, so there's Burf. And every day, if you can imagine, a big stone cauldron, right, is like erected near where you would sleep. And every day, one of the Nibenese Templars, this let's say he's a particularly rotund human who would not basically cast his magic and summon the water you would need to survive if you did not first swear praise to Nibene, right? And if you didn't do it to a person, nobody got water. It was that kind of thing. Right. So if you weren't thirsty enough, the other ones would probably pressure you. Right. But if you can imagine, every day he would basically create 12 gallons of water, which is enough for 6 half giants to have half rations. Right. Basically just on the edge of dehydration to begin with.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, Burf has been taking double, right? He's been drinking what a half giant needs every day, 4 gallons, right? He takes his full share and leaves 8 gallons to be divided by 5 other half giants, right? And here's who the other ones are. There's a second one named Sicko, Sekko, and Sicko is a complete suck up, sucks up, is a brown noser, whatever, to Burf. And sometimes Burf will intercede on Sekko's behalf, and then he gets double rations too, right? Or he gets the 2 gallons, what he needs to survive, right? There's also a second one, or third one, I guess at this point, named Frayed. And Frayed's a complete coward, will not stand up to Burf, but will steal from anybody else if he can get his hands on their water or her. It's, again, gender's not important. Then there was the other 3. Kraukus, you're one. And then there's 2 other half giants that you have some kind of relationship with. You tell me what it is. One of them's older than you, one of them's younger than you. So the older one is potentially, it may even be your mother, or at least someone who was maternal towards you, protective towards you, fatherly, motherly, whatever. They were looking out for you, but they needed your help.
Yeah.
Too.
The older,
versus.
Oh yeah, go on.
Sorry, go ahead. No, did you have an idea?
I was gonna say the last 2 are siblings. My mother is no longer in the picture, but the older one has taken on like an older sibling role.
Okay, that actually works. I considered that. So it could be like an older sister, older brother.
Yeah.
And then the other one would be the same, just younger, right? Yeah. Younger sibling of some, and it doesn't actually have to be blood, just someone you would feel like, protective of in a sibling kind of way. Yeah. Just whatever those reasons are, that's what Kraukus had at this time. So you tell me, and we can decide who plays what. Although I think Joe already claimed Burf.
I just want someone to be Burf. I want to roleplay against a bully.
Awesome.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it is a... I don't have as close a relationship with them as they do with each other, obviously. But I'm not mean or cowardly. And so, because they have empathy towards each other, having a third who is at least not vile, was it was easy for the three of us to become like friendly,
Yeah, a unit.
Yeah,
right?
a unit. It may not be the most emotional, obviously, because emotional intelligence and this kind of position don't go hand in hand necessarily. But yeah.
Okay, so we got older sibling, younger sibling, Burf, Frayed, and Sicko. Anybody want to play any of them?
Well, I'm
I
Burf.
think you should just cast it. I think you should just tell us who we are.
Just if one of them sounded interesting, that's all.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
okay
Mark,
with
do you want to play a little sycophant, a little Grima Wormtongue? Or do you want to be one of the siblings?
Whatever. I have no preference.
All right.
They all want to be cast.
Let's.
Except for Burf. Burf is spoken for.
Yeah, Burf is spoken for. All right. Well, why don't we have Mark play the older sibling? Emelie, you can play the younger sibling, and Aaron, you get to pick. Do you want to play the sycophant, or do you want to play the Frady thief?
I'll be Sicko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So then Frayed is an NPC that I would be
I
writing.
mean, I'm just imagining the classic Looney Tunes cartoon with the big dog and the little dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which way did he go? Which way did he go?
Yeah.
Hey, Burf, let's go, Burf. What do you want to do,
Yeah,
Burf?
Well, and
Burf.
that's what it would be, right? You would basically be like the little dog in the corner that by
or-
sucking up, he gets enough water to live, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
generally speaking, if you don't have enough water for the day, you gain a level of exhaustion, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
and that builds up because you still have to do the work. You still have to haul salt bricks up and down the cliff side all day long, right?
Yeah.
In the hot sun. So this was life or death for you guys, and you had definitely known half giants who had died of dehydration before now, specifically due to Burf's actions, right? So it was a day like any other. You six were gathered around the stone cauldron, waiting for Templar Gant to arrive, and he does. He waddles his corpulent form, draped in black leather, wearing a checkered krama, which is sort of like a headscarf. And he sneers, looks down his nose very deliberately at the group of you. Whatever vengeance you might feel towards him, has little avail. Many have attempted to force him to do things and have failed miserably. He will not reward you with water until he has elicited your obedience, which in his mind means you join him as he lays his hands over top the cauldron and says, all praise King Nibene.
Yeah, praise King Nimine.
Frayed
Yeah,
also says,
Nibene.
praise Nibene.
I guess he should have a sniveling, deep voice. Yeah, praise Nimine.
I assume Burf.
Yeah, I did it.
All right. What about Craucus and the others? Do they acquiesce as well?
Yeah.
No.
You say no?
Then all of the others turn and give you deadly stares. And the Templar stands there patiently.
I stand
How
next.
can talk to your sibling?
I look to you and I think, okay. And I cross my arms. I wait for you. If this is the fight we're picking, this is the fight we're picking.
Yeah. Let's pick a fight.
All right. Well, if you do not say it, if you do not tell this Templar what he wants to hear, he doesn't wait long, and eventually he lowers his hands, says, "Then enjoy a thirsty night, and we will see you in the morn." And with that, he...
Before that happens, is Burf allowed
Totally.
to make them submit or anything?
He could try. How would he do that? Through violence, just pinning them to the ground, or what?
Yeah, ultra violence, tripping, that kind of shit.
All right. Well,
Whatever he's allowed to do, he doesn't want to overstep.
the Templar does not give a shit if you guys kill each other. He really doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It actually probably amuses him. So, you guys picking fights with each other is
Burf says,
his entertainment.
I'm not going thirsty tonight.
and he jams his foot into the ankle of Craucus's sibling, and then pushes him down like face first onto the where we're supposed
Tries to push him down.
The old one or the
Tries
young
to
one?
push him down. Okay.
whatever. I don't know what Mark is playing, older or younger. I don't know.
Mark is playing the older one.
Older. Okay.
Okay.
So, here's the thing. I made this simple, right? Rather than us making this a big D&D game,
Yeah.
which it is. We're again still. We're going to use a more simple dynamic: strength, dex, con. But think about it this way: it's rock, paper, scissors. Okay. So, you would rely on one of three techniques when you are taking an action. You are either using might, which is strength, precision, which is dex, or endurance, which is con. Now, strength is scissors, dex is paper, con is rock, right? So it has to do with who has advantage over who based on what they would use in response. And then all six of you have something that you have bonuses in. So just as a, for instance, not a big surprise, Burf's proficient in might. Okay. And the older sibling is proficient in endurance. All right. So you would basically, you could say, I would use might, I would use precision, I would use endurance to attack or to resist. All right. And then we'll figure it out from there in a rock, paper, scissors kind of way.
Yeah, Burf is using might.
Okay. And what about the older sibling? Would it also be might? Would it be endurance, or would it be precision?
Can I hit him back while he's hitting me?
Then I would say that would be might, which would wash out and be totally fine. So you can just roll d20s and oppose them, and we will see what happens.
Just the regular d20s, or
I'll do the math. Just roll a d20 for me. Yeah.
Naked D20.
Yeah, naked d20. That sounds good.
10.
somehow I rolled 3 dice.
Well, I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah. Roll again.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you click on the D20 3 times?
2.
That's a 2.
Okay, so a 2 versus a 10, right? Okay, I think that's pretty clear. Craucus, you and your younger sibling watch as Burf steps forward and just punches him
Again, it's not
whatever.
a punch. It's not a punch. It's forcing down onto the where we're supposed to be praying or putting our hands or whatever.
Gotcha.
Like putting his
Gotcha.
face
Putting
there.
his face in the
Forcing a
dirt
cow
like a
towel,
nerd.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nerd, put your face where your hands are supposed to go.
Gotcha. So you see that happen, and despite your siblings' resistance, Burf is just too mighty. He's an older kid, right? He's like almost 18, right? When you're like maybe 12. However, now we can, basically, we're not doing initiative, just what does everybody do when this happens? And the Templar starts to chuckle.
I yell, yeah, get him, Burf.
Nice. Yeah, do you take any actions, or are you just young.
I stand there. I assume I would assume that he's probably fairly cowardly as well, as most lackeys are. So, I think I'm gonna just be like, kind of doing the false bravado shit.
Get up in their face, but not actually touching them.
Yeah, I might kind of stand between Burf and the others.
Okay.
Like Crocus and the younger sister.
So,
All right.
are you moved to stand between us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm kind of there, like kind of taking a false stance between the crews.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so then Crocus or the younger sister, any actions? I think it's pretty clear the fearful guy is staying out of this, right?
He's making a show.
No, Frayed isn't even making a show.
Oh,
Frayd's
he's just like in the back, just wringing
Frayd's
their hands.
making a stealth roll, probably to see if he can steal something, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but what does
drink of
Crocus
water.
or the younger sibling do?
I'll let Emily act if she has an idea.
Okay, Emily,
first.
what is the younger...
If she doesn't, then I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna go crazy and jump on Burf.
Nice. So, like, jump on his back and hammer away?
Yeah.
That kind of thing? So, is that might?
In my
Are you using
10-year-old
might
fury.
or precision?
I definitely might. There's nothing precise about this.
Okay, and how would Burf resist? Would Burf resist with might as well, or would Burf resist with endurance? Or precision, like trying to duck out of the way? I'm guessing not, but
Well, you said Burf gets a bonus to might only?
Yeah, Burf has advantages on might-based things, but it doesn't mean he automatically wins.
Right. I think, he's not one for nuance. I think he's just going to
Just push the kid off.
like,
Okay.
yeah,
So
like
then,
go for
opposed
a
rolls.
upward punch, a little one of these.
Right. Okay, got it. So opposed D20 rolls for me, please.
Oh, I rolled a 6.
Nice.
I rolled a 17.
Okay. Tell me what you do to the younger sibling.
Literally, Burf with his right hand is holding older sibling down on the prayer stone or whatever, and then when younger sibling jumps on the back, he just punches without looking backwards, like, "Get off of me, idiot!"
Okay,
I'm
and that
thirsty.
sends the sibling sprawling, we'll say. Crocus, what does Crocus do when he sees that happen?
Can I interject real quick and just say
He's
that
just a little bit.
as soon as she goes sprawling, that's kind of like the moment that I would have been holding my
You're holding your action
for.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you have done then?
Take advantage of her going sprawling.
You
and,
get on top of
like,
her.
now get on top, like basically pin her down.
Oh,
And-
okay,
and-
all right. Then,
You're like, yeah.
might, precision, or are you just like putting your full weight on her, and that would be like
Full weight.
All right,
Yeah,
so
full weight.
endurance versus I would think precision is what the younger sibling would use. But it's up to you. You can use endurance, you can use might, whatever you want.
Do I have an advantage in either?
The younger sibling does. The younger sibling actually has endurance.
But I can't use that here.
I mean, you technically can. It's more just you're resisting. Like this is all just like
And we're doing naked 20s, right?
naked 20s. I'm doing the math. I've got it all here. I didn't want you guys to
Okay.
get bogged down with that.
All right.
I rolled a 4.
18.
All right, so I'm gonna say that you meant. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry, Aaron. You still need to give me a roll though.
No, 18.
18. Oh shit, yeah. So you just put your full weight down, like she goes sprawling, and you just sit on her back, and she wiggles, but she's stuck. At least this round, she's stuck. And that actually probably elicits a full guffaw from Templar Gant. He's just like enjoying this to no end. But okay, so sorry, Crocus.
So
You've held his action.
Yeah.
Jumped on your sister's back. Now what do you do?
after
Say
seeing
Uncle Nibbenay.
after seeing that, after seeing the muling guy take advantage, the dehydration, the heat, everything starts to get to me. and I go to tear out his throat by biting it. So I go lunging to chomp his throat.
Sicko.
That's Sicko?
Right?
Yeah, to
All right, so
chop
I'm gonna
Sicko's throat.
Well, I mean, you said specifically you were going through the throat, so you could actually use precision if you wanted as opposed to might. But if you can imagine, Crocus is advantaged for might.
Yeah, I
So
would
you
like
can
to
use
use
whatever you want.
might. So maybe I am going to pin him down with both my hands, like press him down, one hand on chest, one hand on jaw to open it up, and bite and then drink. Because fuck this guy.
All right, and Aaron, how would you resist? Precision, endurance, or might?
I would probably, God, like my character is he like how physically, like how does he compare to Crocus?
Crocus is bigger. The only one who is bigger than Crocus is Burf, but Burf is so much bigger that he can bully all of you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Then I'd probably use precision to wiggle free and try to hop to my feet.
Well, you
and
have
jump
advantage
back.
on. Well, you have a bonus for precision. So, but Crocus, you have a bonus for might. So go ahead and give me 2 naked rolls.
Okay, I rolled a
19.
I rolled an 18.
I rolled a 19.
All right. It's just enough. You don't like hit the jugular, and suddenly it's like a Kurosawa film or whatever. But you do chomp down on his neck, and you draw blood. You taste it in your mouth.
I try to drink, and I'm
probably do.
I'm growling
Drink
while I
some
do
blood.
that.
And Sicko, you starts to shriek. Just absolutely did not see that coming as his head gets pried back and Crocus bites him like a vampire. So, but now it's basically Burf and the older sibling. They're the ones who are kind of entangled. And Burf, you were a little distracted by the girl jumping on your back. So basically the sibling has a chance to get away or counterattack or whatever. So, Mark, what would you do now that this?
I'm gonna reach
big old
behind
bully
me.
is-
I'm gonna reach behind me and grab his dick and squeeze it and twist it as hard and sharply as I can.
Okay, again. Technically, you could use might, but that sounds like a precision-based action.
Depends on how big my hands are.
I suppose it depends on how big his dick is too.
If he's this much of a bully, it's gonna be a search.
Got
Yeah,
it.
you're right. It's definitely precision. Okay, it's definitely they're both the same for you, so it's actually kind of immaterial. But Burf, how would you resist? Endurance, precision, or might?
I think might my resistance is just to now I'm gonna try to punch his head into the dais that I was already holding him down on.
Okay, well, let's resolve the
So we're
first
going
roll
head
first.
to head.
Yeah. Now it's getting. This is brutal, right? Just beating each other to death in the desert sands.
We lost Emelie.
All right. So, oops. Okay. So anyway, sorry guys. Burf and the older sibling, please give me opposed rolls.
The what roll?
Just
naked
D20.
20.
D20.
So that's 14.
Okay.
15.
Nice.
So I
Well-
snag a nut.
I'm gonna say that might is not the way to resist somebody grabbing your dick. So I'm gonna say it's successful, and you managed to get a whole handful of Burf. To which I'll say that you basically, if nothing else, you have inflicted enough pain that Burf, while you can punch as your action, you're gonna have disadvantage on this unless you get yourself uncoupled first.
Oh, okay. I
So
thought they
you
were
can
like
either
simultaneous
wrestle the
actions.
hand away or you can punch at disadvantage.
I'm not letting go.
I bet you're not. And and at this point, nothing's going to make you let go
I'm
unless
digging.
it's an
I'm
opposed
digging in.
endurance.
I'm taking this with me.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So sorry, Burf. What's your action?
Burf should barf if he gets hit in the nuts really hard.
I guess I'm gonna, I'm just gonna flex my dick and endure this.
Okay. So, again, I'm gonna say that's, well, you just said that's endurance versus might.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, it's not good. It's a 5.
Oh, and how about for the sibling? What does the sibling roll for might?
I rolled a 15.
No,
Sweet. Oh, wait, no, that was last time. This is now resisting.
Oh, okay. What am I?
Yeah,
what?
no.
Another just 20. Just 20.
Oh, 1. Yay.
Oh, okay.
Dick flex for the win.
Yeah, I mean, what we'll say is, while it's still painful, you do manage to just barely free yourself from the vice-like grip, and that will certainly, you'll feel that in the morning.
You do a Barbarian Brothers with your penis.
Yeah,
and
I
you just go, and it bursts his
like a
hand
thrust.
off of your dick.
Thrusted his hand off.
But yeah, I mean, the Templar is like clapping his hands now, just right. Okay, so let's see. Younger sibling is trapped beneath the weight of the sycophant. What does the younger sibling? What did the younger sibling do?
Is there a knee close enough that I can bite him really hard and try to trip?
There's definitely something in biting range. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna bite him.
Okay. Might or precision? What would you say?
Might. Jaw
Okay.
strength.
All right, and then sycophant to resist. We'll just say endurance, right? Because you can't really move. You're sitting on her, right?
Yeah.
So, go ahead and make me pose rules, please.
I rolled a
5.
14.
Oh, actually, you're getting bit too. So sorry. What were the 2 rolls?
5.
And
14.
Nice. Okay, so now both Craucus and his little sister are chowing down on this guy. As you're now biting like deep into, like, we'll say like the tendons in the back of his knee, something like that, right? And you got your teeth like deep in
fuck,
it.
Yeah. Get that
yeah.
pop Latil.
Super screaming is going on.
We're going to eat
you
him.
would probably taste blood too, which is, salty but refreshing, especially when you're as thirsty as you guys are. Okay, so. We did that. We did. So sorry, Craucus. You last we checked in, you were chawing down on Sicko's neck.
Yeah.
What do you do next?
Now, so he pulled away, right?
Well, he tried to, and then your little sister like bit into his knee. So.
Okay. Now I'm going
Stick
to.
a finger in it.
I'm gonna try to snap his neck.
Okay. Well, that's definitely might.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm gonna say, Sicko, you will resist with endurance.
Okay.
So I rolled twice. Natural 20.
10.
Okay. Will Craucus, this is why you remember this day so well. This is the first time you killed someone. You reach your hand around his head, get like 2 of your fingers under his jaw, and when you yank, not only does the neck snap like someone like just, but not that you would know this in Athos, but like, like cornstalk, just but then you actually even dislocate the jaw and you half yank it out of his head. And Sicko takes a few moments, but he will die from that injury. At which point, there will be enough water to go around that day. Now the question is, what did Burf do when his little brown noser was killed by Craucus?
Blood dripping from his mouth as he. Right.
And still probably holding his limp jaw in your hand.
Yeah.
And the little sister gnawing away.
Throw the jawbone like a boomerang at Burf's face.
Next turn, I absolutely will.
Yes, Samson him with that half giant jaw.
Oh, no, we lost him.
Sicko, you're weak.
Is that what did Crocus go after Burf, or did Burf stand down? What does Crocus remember happening next?
So, Crocus just remembers, like, after killing Sicko, the tunnel vision starts to come in. Things start to go red, and then all I see is Burf. Nothing else is just Burf.
And that was probably the first time you raged,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what we'll say is
where is Burf from? Because I'd like to know where Burf of a Nation is from.
that's the name of the episode, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Birth of a nation.
Birth of a nation.
Oh, bad, so bad, so bad. Awesome.
Or a bunch of half giants sitting around John.
Awesome. Okay, so, however, even raging, Crocus, at least today, was not Burf's physical equal.
Yeah.
And what I will just summarize this. What ended up happening was a free-for-all brawl that Crocus, you remember very little of it because you were in this red haze. But you remember at one point, Burf sitting on your chest, hammering blow after blow against your temples and cheeks and jaw until you lapsed into unconsciousness again.
Yeah.
And you had your first vision of that feral boy. In fact, now that you are recollecting with more clarity, we can even say that imagine this doppelganger of yours to be, Crocus-like, with a Crocus-like build, but with green, rubbery skin, a long, pointed nose, and a shock of black hair. And you get this. I'm sorry?
Nothing. I was making a wicked joke.
Right, yeah, for sure. You might say, not that any of our characters would have this point of reference, but for our D&D mindset, you might almost say something, your ancestor was troll-like. And somehow you have psychically inherited its power. Through, your ancestral memory, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. Because
the
trolls were all wiped out in the Great Wars.
Yeah.
So there aren't any trolls left.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Mark.
If Burf is turning his attentions to Crocus, can I roll to jump on Burf's back?
Yeah, for sure. Like, okay, so basically,
I want to jump on his back.
We're kind of done with the mini game, so to speak. It was more just like this was the time where Crocus was like, "I've had enough," and whether he won or lost, he probably stood up to this guy. Technically, what happened is he got his brains beat in, and then his psychic ability kicked in, and in the morning he woke up fine, right? And so the next time,
imagine that.
Sorry,
I was just going to say, I would imagine just after Crocus killed Sicko, and then Burf started to pummel Crocus. That's probably when the Templars would have put it into this.
Yeah, probably at that point they would use their magic to.
They've already lost one
person
worker,
or whatever.
lose another. Yeah.
Like, of course, that's also the idea. Is like while you are told that you are worthless. I mean, you still carry 1,000 pounds a day, so like you're not totally worthless, or whatever, right? So, like somebody's got to haul that stuff up, and it's not going to be those guys, right? So, anyway, so that was kind of my idea for that sort of sort of the first time you were killed, and that your power kicked in, because essentially you immediately healed 30 points of damage, and then you started regenerating another point a minute until you were full, right? So that explains who knows how many times that you were, killed, but not really.
Yeah.
Right. And this was probably just the first of many, which
You're like
explains your
Solomon
long
Grundy.
and storied gladiatorial career as well, which we will get to another time.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
So I guess we return back to Athos, to the Midnight Sands, and things wrap up, and the group can head back to the Golden Inex. There's a auction now, I guess, coming up the next day, and others will. I guess unless anybody else has anything, we could wrap it up there for tonight.
Just Crocus needs dessert. That's all.
Yeah.
And
But,
in theory,
yeah.
the other thing that we can do is, since we have now all tasted, or I assume we will before we wrap up, let's make sure we all get a taste of the Pharaoh fruit.
Yeah, we all got that.
Once in a lifetime thing, right? But because Ma'ak has perfect memory, but he also has, well, actually, that might not work because it's subjective, but in theory, he can share, quote unquote, the memory of that experience with anybody too. And it's like this other value that we can do, right?
Yeah.
Of like this once in a lifetime opportunity.
It's kind of
that we remember.
I would imagine too. It's more than just the fact that past. Well, okay, and I'm talking about Ma'ak's memory of eating the Pharaoh fruit. It would be a very bittersweet thing, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that, like, it now taints all food experience.
Oh,
like it's almost a memory, like
another...
it's almost like a memory that you kind of wish had not resurfaced.
It's
For
like getting
multiple
bumped up
reasons.
to first class.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you never want to pay for it.
I know. It's like we splurged at New Year's and had fucking caviar, and I've never had caviar, and oh my god, I want caviar all the time.
Yeah, I have something
Like-
similar that I'm not super proud
Yeah.
of, but at one point my wife and I were at a French restaurant and we ordered foie gras, and it is so fucking good. It's so good. Oh, I know. I felt
You're gonna
guilty,
come back,
and I
you're
will never
coming
eat it
back
again.
You're coming
but I
back
did
as a
it once,
goose.
and it's awesome. So
You're gonna come back as a goose
No.
next time.
I probably will,
Yeah.
man. I probably will. That's karma for you.
It's illegal to
Yeah.
serve foie gras in California.
Is it? Yeah, no, believe me, like I'll never do it again, but it was like this opportunity and I swallowed my soul and I had some.
What is foie gras?
It is
Force-fed goose liver.
fed goose liver.
They cut their beaks off, put a funnel in there, and just feed them fatty foods
Disgusting.
until their livers become full of fat and they die, and they grind it up and serve it on crackers.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's rough, man, but it's so good.
they've been trying to outlaw it in France for a long time.
I just have a general rule: I don't eat filtration organs,
Mm.
like kidneys and livers and
Oh,
stuff.
Yeah, I usually don't like it.
I love offal. I think offal is an overlooked joy.
I'm with you.
Well, I've always said you were gutsy.
I love
Bada-boom!
gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, everything free. That's what I love. Cruelty-free.
Yeah, a steak and kidney pie. Oh my god. Yeah.
When
But,
you boil, you
all
have to boil the piss out of kidneys before you eat them. That's
But you
not
don't
good.
have to.
Well,
But you should.
unless you're German.
Yeah. But all right, well, that was fun, Rob. Thanks for taking over tonight, taking some load off of me, so I could get my work done. I actually am close to finishing this page.
Sweet.
So
it.
next time, 2 weeks from now, we'll be back as usual.
2 weeks from now is Memorial Day weekend.
Oh crap. Okay. Well, let's think about that.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But we will be back soon. So thanks for watching again. This has been, as usual, Dark Sun, Fire and Sand. a subsidiary of Adventure Hook Industries. So.
Okay, wave goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.